second edition of the MUNCH Triennale, entitled Almost Unreal, refers to a current moment where the distinctions between what's real and what's fake is becoming increasingly unstable. Anything can be fake, so what can you trust?
This exhibition really responds to recent developments in virtual reality technologies, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning.
And in this world where we can't be sure of what is reality, what is veracity, what is truth, artists provide a way of training our imaginations so that we can begin to imagine something different.
We're really excited to present 26 artists who span across geographies, different age ranges. It's really an opportunity to invite artists to imagine differently, using the tools that are usually prescribed to imagine in a very specific way.
All of these recent technological developments come at a huge cost to the climate, and they come at a huge cost to interpersonal relationships, which become replaced by algorithms which are designed to focus on a kind of storytelling which is intended to sell us something or to capture our attention. There are several threads running through the artist practices. One is an unearthing of the past, whether real, historical fact in the sense of colonial exploitation, or it's imagined, mythological storytelling, which is then absorbed into the artist's practices and re-emerges in their particular form.
The installation behind me is titled Didiriswa tsa bogologolo, which means tools of the past. Indigenous technology works with the elements, giving back and taking from in a healthy, sustainable, connected way. Rocks have this ability to store information and minerals. They are a huge archiver. You can also kind of see what the rocks are seeing. So they also have this way of sharing the story with you. The tools pull you in for the moment into another time.
I want to invite the viewers to pierce through this portal and use myths as vehicles and tools to travel back and forth in time.
Then there's a question of what comes after death, what comes after planetary collapse, what is there for future generations.
What if humans went extinct? How would that somehow change the world? And will we then be able to be remembered? I wanted to use the spider to perform the movements from Yvonne Reiner, a dancer, somehow trying to learn and then remember how humans moved in space.
My practice at large is quite interested in the idea of simulation as a kind of knowledge expanding tool. It's a place to sort of playtest possible futures. So with Earth Engine, I was really excited to configure a system calling upon real-time climate data to spawn a virtual Earth every time it's played. And it's giving those data points agency. So thinking about the system of a video game as a sort of living entity, trying to muddy some of these like binaries or divisions that are quite typical of video games.
And then there's a sort of defiance of dominant discourses, which lends a certain edge to a lot of the works.
Dreamcore is an exploration of politics behind video games in colonial context. I'm making parallels between Los Santos, the fictional city of Grand Theft Auto 5, and the Holy Land, Palestine. I'm using hacking and glitching the game itself to kind of invert the story, bring new perspectives, the native's perspective.
The settler's work is to make even dreams of liberty impossible for the native.
The native goes to take certain technology that's meant to actually eliminate them and reverse it, hack it to disrupt this colonial machine.
We look at new technologies, but also at old technologies. So jacquard weaving, which was so central to development of computing. Music box. And also the hologram. The idea was also that we would go beyond the confines of the gallery spaces and stretch into the stairwell of the museum, to the lobby of the museum.
In my work, I'm always interested what's hidden from the naked eye. Particles, neutrinos, radioactivity, aphotic zones where there is no more light or oxygen. We can see the outer world through this 12-meter filter of primordial broth and single-celled organisms.
We have a Triennale Talks program where we've been so lucky to get Mackenzie Walk to give a keynote.
Art might take an interest in stimulating our capacity to imagine worlds, or to distinguish not so much the real from the unreal as what versions of the unreal seem enabling for capacities for life.
And then all the artists in panel discussions with each other.
All of it's about trying to understand and connect with others and beyond the human and into the future.
The theremin is a really interesting instrument. It's one of the earliest electronic instruments, and it's something that you play without touching it. And actually it's featured in one of the works here in the exhibition, in Himali Singh Soin's work. So to bring somebody to play the theremin live in Cecilia Legangir for the opening is something that we're really happy with.
I'm really excited for audiences to be able to access the range and perspectives and different worlds on display here. I hope that people are inspired to feel a sense of enchantment and also maybe inspired to imagine their own reality in a different way.
Making a show about futures of simulation in this current moment feels really important and necessary and urgent.
I hope by seeing this exhibition that audiences will feel that their imagination has been exercised in some way and that it's given food for thought and reflection.
If people could travel to multiple dimensions and multiple timelines while still being here, then yeah, the tools are doing their work.